Well, fuck, we're back once again with an absolutely oversized fucking video. 28 minutes, and that's after I trimmed nearly everything out of it. I've skipped about 3 minutes in the beginning where I was redoing my trap loadout, so we're going straight into the intro here. And we're back at Castle Hades, which for those of you who are actually observant is the first castle of the game, where the protagonist got dragged after the king horribly massacred her family. Indirectly, because of course he doesn't have the stones to do it himself. And now we're getting properly introduced to Queen Margareta. Margareta, I should say. Queen Margarita's a completely different drink. And yeah. Info dump ahoy. Wishes to serve should in fact in this case be read as wishes to kill you last. Bianca's not really the serving type. Queen Margareta there displaying an unusual amount of intelligence, really, not trusting people right off the bat. Although sending Bianca off on a solo mission is probably not the smartest of ideas, particularly not if you want to interrogate any survivors. Bianca a little slow on the uptake here, having not worked out that the person called Queen Margareta is in fact Queen Margareta. Bianca will be serving under the Queen. Also on top of the Queen, depending on the Queen's preferences on any given night. Couldn't avoid that joke. So we're here on to level 15. This is a long-ass level, in part because it contains the first real boss fight of the game. But we're in this nice, giant, gothic castle, Hades, which is a hell of a name for a castle if ever there was one, if you'll excuse the pun. And some sort of pointless running around while I sort of get my bearings and go from room to room. Because it's a new castle I haven't actually used before, a lot of the traps in this one are pretty weak. The trap combos, I should say. I didn't have a lot of experience working with the particular room devices. You'll see me completely fuck up one a little bit later on with the tomb rock because I mistook how it would work. But we got two people coming in, Gardock and Kruger, who sadly enough does not have a three-clawed glove and claw people to death in their dreams. Which is a pity because Freddy Krueger would have made a pretty rockin' villain for this. The oil vase, by the way, is a piece of shit. At iVolt's insistence, I've rejigged my trap loadout to have a lot more fire in it, because burning people is good. I, however, picked just about the worst fucking level to do that in. I swear 3/4 of the people in this level are immune to fire. And fuck that for a joke, because seriously, that was some grade A bullshit right there. Not much more I can say. We're setting up a trap combo here. Obviously, there's not a huge amount of traps in this one. There's the rolling rock, which I'm assuming you can push down on things. I didn't really use it much in this one. There's a giant flame bearer thing that you'll see later on, and that's about it. And the heal stone, of course, which is rather not that useful. The thing about the oil vase is it's an absolute bitch to actually get any use out of. There's only a handful of weapons that'll actually do anything with it. It's too situational, and it just doesn't really work very well. And yeah, this is a long level. There are a lot of enemies, and the last fight takes absolutely ages. Excuse me. And we're setting up another trap combo, because, you know, motherfucking trap combos be bitchin'. And I can't believe I just said that. Well, the theory behind this trap is that I'm going to use the blast floor to send them down into the firewall, the heat breath. And I'm going to use the heat breath to launch them onto the other room trap, which will spray fire down from the air when I set it up right. That's the theory behind it. In practice, it worked out a little bit differently. As you see me repeatedly rearranging my traps here, because this particular video was done very much on the fly. It's pretty sloppy. Not as sloppy as the Queen, but fairly sloppy. And yeah, my wit is likely to go down in direct proportion to the foulness of my language, because I'm drinking rather heavily while recording this. Well, heavy for me, so not that heavy really anymore. Cold Arrow, which is one of the few good traps I actually have in my arsenal, I really screwed the pooch when equipping myself for this level. and I also really just screwed up in general with my trap selection. It's not the best. It's all well and good until I come up against something that's immune to being bear trapped. But they're going to both go flying down. An excellent double mid-air hit on that. I believe I just hit out the cold arrow. Missed completely. And there's the big flaming bear of doom. Big flaming dragon's head of doom, which is fucking up Kruger like he deserves it. Gonna need to move some traps now. I will just point out that I completely fucked up when setting up this one. I have no idea what the hell I was thinking. It does not work. I had to adjust this afterwards. It is seriously not very effective at all. And you'll see me adjust things in a second, because I don't actually have the editing expertise to cut out all the fuck-ups in this video. The ones that made it through my save stating, at least. Because this is such a long level, I did make a point of save stating a couple of times. Just when I was going for the more impressive trap combos, like the mid-air Thor hammer. Not that I couldn't get it without save states, it was just a lot simpler if this thing desynced or whatever, which it occasionally does, because it's a fucking whore. And there's the bear trap. And there's the flare rock. Keep rolling, motherfucker. And he's dead. But he isn't dead enough, so we're going to set him on fire while we're at it. Of course you can't talk. You're fucking dead. Because, you know, setting bitches on fire, excuse the language, is always amusing. Frequently not legal, but always amusing. I'm given to understand it's really only legal in Tehran these days. Go figure. So now we need another trap to get rid of Gardok, who is going to be an absolute pain in my ass, no doubt. Again, I don't know what I was actually thinking with this trap combo. It is... You're seeing my thought processes sort of as they happened, and I sort of think in geological time frames. It's a really bad habit of mine. So adjust. Eventually I'll find something that works. Like as you're seeing now. Bear trap, Thor hammer, flamer. It's an oldie but a goodie. Bear trap. Goes off. Thor hammer slams him right into the boulder, into the flame, and he is now on fire. I had actually assumed that the wall would send the rock rolling and over the top of him. It didn't, so I kind of fucked up there. But he did walk right into the backswing of the Thor's hammer, which serves the dumb fuck right. Because seriously, that was retarded. I'm also inclined to believe he doesn't actually know a thing, because he's dead. That really does put a crimp in your knowledge, generally. So our next two opponents are Cervantes and Dizak. Dayak, something along that fucking line. Bitch have a complicated name. Really complicated. Now this one's a bit of an odd room, because you got the collapser, which functions basically by you taking out enough of the walls for it to fall down on somebody. There is the pitfall trap, which you won't see used till later. There is the aptly named big pillar, and the two props, the smaller pillars. The two props, of course, are what's holding up the collapser, by the way. And yeah, that is a very big pillar. 120 damage if it lands on you. It's quite effective. Because, you know, a 120-ton pillar of stone should be fucking effective when it lands on you. This is the point where I kind of found out, as you saw earlier, the problem with the heat wall as opposed to the regular wall. Not rule. The heat wall cannot knock down things. It can't knock pillars down. It cannot be used to activate push traps. It can move people a bit, but it can't actually send them flying or send bits of the environment flying the way I need it to. So, fuck you, iVolt, you screwed me. Really did not work for me in this situation. Which forces me to rely on a lot of traps I would not normally have used in terms of getting things out of the way. We got a bit of a time period because they got to run over the whole of Castle Hades to get to me. Luckily, because if they were right on top of my ass right now, they'd be feasting on it. Fucking cannibals. And yeah, This is a long, slow wait. So I'm going to talk about the game's plot a little bit and what I intend to do, which can, in short form, be summed up as shovel a bonfire over the arse of every named character in this game that is not Bianca. Because, seriously, revenge is sweet, and these bastards deserve it. I mean, I have not met a single character in this game that did not have it coming. With the possible exception of poor Miguel, who is dead, and thus solidifies his place as the only reasonable, sane person in this game. Because he's the only ally we get, and he's killed off in a fucking cutscene, which to me says, good guy. Because it's not like the game this gothic would let us have a hero's welcome or anything. But yeah, we're just waiting on Cervantes to make his appearance on the Dizak. I believe that Cervantes going to be coming in first. No, it's Dizak that will beat us here first, and you can see me realising very rapidly that I need to readjust my trap setup because this is not going to work. And here comes the heavily armoured Dizak right through the door there. The fun thing I found out too late about Dizak is he's immune to fire. And more or less immune to a lot of stuff, actually, as you saw him completely shrug off that right there. The cold arrow didn't even phase him. The bear trap barely slowed him down, excuse the pun. And yeah, that really didn't work the way it was supposed to. And of course, I can't even set a vacuum floor exactly where I want it because it would be too far underneath things. Ideally, what I'd like to do, and I think I did this, is set up so I could drop the pillar on him and then the collapser because, you know, he has it coming. Not for anything in particular he did, he just has it coming. Yeah, and you can see me realising right about now that none of the wall traps I have can take out pillars, which is terribly annoying. Because if they could, I could bear trap him, take out a pillar, and then Thor's hammer him after everything landed on him, which would be fun. Unfortunately, I can't, so I need to convince him to walk exactly where I want it, which is over the bear trap. So I can Thor's hammer it down on him. There goes the pillar. There goes the collapser. Motherfucker's not dead. He is still breathing. He is not an unperson, and here comes Cervantes to make the rest of my life fucking miserable. He's smart though, because he's running away. And of course, you cannot reset a trap while it's still active. The bear traps have a relatively long activation time because they're high level. It's one of my few level 3 traps, which I need to buy more of. And yeah, I'm in a bit of trouble now. As you stat, flame blooming there was Dizak's special attack. He lobs bits of flame at you. And Cervantes here has... well, he has a big-ass spear that he rams in people. It's all very, very phallic, I assure you. You'll see it in a minute. But yeah, I've realised now my trap combo won't work because there's a door where I wanted to put the heat breath. Motherfucking doors be screwing my shit. And I don't apologise for the bad language. I'm sorry if anyone's offended. I'm not sorry for actually saying it, I'm just sorry you're offended, to borrow some words from the late great Bill Hicks. Yeah, this isn't going well. Long stage, I'm assuming the later stages aren't any real longer than this, because these half-hour videos are fucking draining to do audio for all in one go. And right there you got a glimpse of Cervantes' big pig sticker, and Dizak missing with a well-thrown firebomb. Cervantes is only partially immune to bear traps. He is immune to the cold arrow, and he has good defense, so I'm just going to drop the giant pillar on him. It says a lot about Cervantes that the giant pillar did not actually crush him to death, it merely crushed his spirit. And yeah, it's a problem. So I'm resetting the bear trap. What I'm hoping to do, if I can time this right, is use the bear trap to set up the Thor's hammer and drop him in the pitfall. It's probably overkill at this point, but I want to make sure he's down and out of it, because I'm not taking any goddamn chances anymore. There's the bear trap. There's the Thor's hammer, which just misses Dizak. And yeah, down the pitfall Cervantes goes. Which introduces us to a new Lord Baron, who we have not been introduced to before now, and I'm presuming is going to... You see him with his giant flaming crossbow there, Dizak making my life hell. And now we've got Gelforst showing up. Gelforst is the first actual pseudo-boss battle of this game. You can probably tell by the fact he has 2 full health bars and a little death skull icon on him. But we need to get Dizak as he comes right through here. I don't want him getting any chances to get set up. He's rather dangerous. He's immune to half my shit. Fuck him and everything he stands for. I want him dead before he realises what's going on. And fortunately, since there's only one door he can come out, I can just, well, screw him up. Simple as that. Yeah. He's got it coming. He's going to die. Guardians, these are the giant statues. You topple them on people. They're fun. But again, I have to, because I don't have a trap come out of the walls and knock them over, I have to use the Thor's hammer on it, which severely limits what I can do. Forces me to use the vacuum floor, which is a very slow trap to charge. Luckily, I've run far enough ahead that I can set this up without any real trouble from that. If he was right on my heels, the vacuum floor would be fucking useless. Because it just would not charge in time to be any good. You can see how slow it charges relative to everything else in my arsenal. There's a bit of range on it, luckily, so I can just lure him in with that. Heat breath him, which does next to nothing, and drop the floor on him. Which, you'll note, was not actually fatal. However, it does have one significant advantage here. He is very badly injured, and he is going to be very slow to get back up from it. Which means I can recharge the vacuum floor fast enough that he won't actually escape. And you can see me frantically mashing the button on it. So I'm going to drag him back in. Does no damage. And I'm going to drop the hammer. Which only does 30 damage, but is enough to launch him and kill the son of a bitch. And I get the feeling I'm not being told something here. I don't quite know why, and I can't put my finger on it. But, you know, I get the feeling I'm not being told everything. So yeah, the only enemy left in this level is Gelforst, the boss, for lack of a better term. He's big, he's nasty, and he has the most bullshit special ability I've encountered thus far in this game. Though, given that this is a deception game and it's by Tecmo, I get the feeling I'm going to see a lot more of them coming up in the future. So I've got plenty of time before he sort of ambles over to deal with me. So I'm going to sort of explain my hit list at this point. Top of the hit list is, well, motherfucking everyone. But no, I'm going to go with the king being at the top of the hit list right now. And his little dragon, Miguel, as opposed to the kid I was talking about earlier, who I got the name horribly wrong on. Miguel, the little shit stain who killed his parents, who was second on the list behind the king. The Queen's the third. Cecilia's probably fourth. At this point I'm starting to run out of named characters. This Lord Baron guy we haven't actually met yet. It's probably going on at number 5. Purely by virtue of the fact we haven't met him yet, so he hasn't had the chance to piss me off that much. Anyway, so I've got my nice little trap set up here. And around about now I had the bright idea of assuming that since this guy's the boss, I should probably actually, you know, check his stats and see what I'm up against. Yeah, not my wisest idea. We're changing things a little bit to give us a better sort of setup. Trying to combo everything off in one go, which is going to be rather difficult. So what I'm trying to do with this setup here is the God Gate, which it doesn't actually show you what it is that little gate that divides the middle of the room. And when you hit the activation switch on it, it shuts the gate forcibly. And here we see the bullshit. He teleports. He teleports like a motherfucker. He has ridiculous damage reduction, so my bear trap does nothing, and the rock only does 48. And here's where we find the real bullshit. By the way, and you may not see him actually do it. I forget if I recorded it, but there's some real grade A bullshit in this game. this boss, I should say. And you can see, you'll probably notice by now I'm not actually going for trap combos on this guy, and there's a reason for that. He, when damaged, gets a several second immunity to further damage. He cannot be comboed effectively, which is why I had to resort to doing that. Well, that's nicely quadra. He can be comboed, there is just a very tight time frame on doing it. If he gets the slightest moment's recovery, he will invoke his immunity, become invulnerable for several seconds, and screw you. Simple as that. So yeah, he is a rather problematic and completely bullshit boss. He also has some 200 health and very good defense, so he takes quite a bit of damage to get rid of. And he has a list of immunities as long as my dick, metaphorically speaking. So yeah, the only way to really deal with him is to get really fast combos going. I don't have any really fast combos because he's immune to the damage done by all my setup traps. He's immune to cold, he's immune to fire, and the bear trap barely stuns him. So, combine that with the teleportation, and what you won't see him use thus far is his rush attack, where he basically sprints straight at you with that big ass scythe and rams it where the sun doesn't shine. Which is a terribly long way to go to ruin a perfectly good scythe, if you ask me. And unfortunately, I'm sitting in this room with basically no traps left in it. There are the room devices, but I've used all of them. And here's the thing, if you get too far away from him, he does that. Teleports around behind you. If you get far enough away, you get the big version of that attack where he sprints at you, fucks you up completely, and in the hole, bitches in the hole. He's down, and I'm running like shit because I do not want to be in the room when he recovers. Of course, I've actually got to find the door out, which could have been fatal if he'd been a little quicker to claw himself out of that shallow little pit that was nearly his grave. And this isn't going well at all. So we actually have traps in this room, none of which I can really use effectively on him because he's immune. He, as you haven't seen his, you may actually see his immunities in a second. I don't remember if I looked at them in this playthrough. Here's the big deal. He's immune to cold. He's immune to fire, more or less. He's immune to blast. He's immune to a lot of stuff. And he has his little invulnerability bullshit. End result is I don't want to fight him in that room. I don't want to fight him anywhere I do not have a ton of room traps to use to my advantage. And while not particularly good, he is better than the other area. Because I have a guillotine. I can drop a ship on him, which is, hard to sort of look past. There's a guillotine, which, yeah, it's an automatic activator. He doesn't trigger automatic traps. He's also immune to several of the rings that I'm not using, the trap modifiers. He's immune to the summon ring, and I think he's immune to the charge ring as well. So he won't be fooled into walking into traps because they've got the summon ring on him. And he dodges the automatic enhancement. So generally, he's just a massive pain in the ass. Fortunately, he's not that smart, as you'll see later on. Fortunately, I say fortunately because if he was smart, I would be so completely screwed. You can see me sort of trying to set up a combo here, which I can't do because of the positioning on everything. I was going to try and bear trap him and then use the Thor's hammer to shove him into the fireplace. Go on, all old school Hansel and Gretel on this motherfucker. He's not a witch, but Bianca's probably a witch. He's not. But, fuck him. Fuck him like the skeleton he is. Yeah, complete pain in the ass. He's immune to so much shit. And he can't even walk in the door normally. He's got to be all special and teleport through. So that you cannot trap him with a cheap shot coming into the room. He's a bitch. He's a pain in the fucking ass. You can see I don't actually have a ceiling trap set up at this point because there's really not a lot of use I've got for one right now. There's nothing I can really set up and use reliably on him. At least not unless I were to move the bear trap closer or out of the way or in some. He's really hard to trap. not quite immune to fire. He's got a good resistance to it, but he can be hurt by it. Of course, he's not actually going to do me a favour and walk right. He's going to walk right to the centre of the room. Pain in the ass that he is. Fortunately, he's a slow walker. You know, because when you're 7 feet tall, 400 pounds of metal, and you carry a scythe that weighs more than most people, fuck running. I mean, they can come to you. It's going to be a problem though, because, you know, pain in the ass to deal with, as always. So, we're rearranging our traps here in the hope that we can actually get rid of him. I don't know how useful the blast floor is going to be, because, frankly, this guy's dangerous. He is not, however, always the smartest guy in the way of things, which was, yeah. I was able to walk him right into the flame there, because he's as dumb as shit, and that's his invulnerability special. Until that finishes, he's immune to it. Timed that just right, and now he's in the fireplace. Burn, motherfucker. Burn. Burn. Just letting my frustration go. I don't know, if I was on fire in the middle of an oven and dying, I would not be rambling on about doing my duty. I would be screaming in motherfucking agony. So he's clearly tough. And no one talked. I'm not entirely certain how you stall for time when Bianca is setting you on fire, but... Okay, we now know Lord Baran is a platoon commander. And Queen Margareta is every bit as bloodthirsty as Bianca, so I think I've found a worthy opponent for disembowelment. And, yeah. The king is not quite as stupid as the rest of us think. And Bianca is suitably scared of the man who had her family horribly butchered. And if I was the king right about now, I would be demanding to see that body, possibly for necrophiliac purposes. Why not? Okay, he's apparently dumber than I gave him credit for. Or not. Because he's just pinched the motherfucking Guardian Stone. And the Center Stone. And basically, he's got the game's MacGuffin, and he's either got it by being a complete idiot and not realising what he's doing, or he's the smartest motherfucker in the world. I'm going to go with option C. Knight. And yeah. So now she's not only serving under and over the Queen, and kneeling in front of her, she's sharing a room with Cecilia. Kinky. And yes, if you are technically speaking the servant of the Queen, you probably should bow. Even if you're simply waiting for her to turn her back so you can put the knife in. That's the end of the mission. We have the circle ring. The charge ring, sorry. Fuck you all. Good night. Don't come back next time.